So after you've set up camp, you want to just calm down and not draw attention to yourself. Unless you've checked with the owner of the property first. You want to just lay low and enjoy the surroundings. So when you get up, just pack up and don't leave a mess, and you'll be back on the road with ease. This one time when I was in the Lake District, I found a farm paddock, spoke to the lady who owned the farm, and in the morning another lady, she woke me up in the middle of a field with a cup of tea and a bagel. When you sleep outside, you really expose yourself to meeting the locals in a nuanced and kind of abnormal way that's different from meeting people in hostels, which I encourage you to do, because it's definitely very nice to sleep in an Airbnb every now and again. So when you're going bikepacking, you're gonna want a bag. This is the Peak Design 30-liter everyday backpack. It's very useful. It opens from the side, which allows you to get into, socks. So the bags that you bring will function for space. It's up to you what you're gonna bring to fill that space. Are you gonna bring socks or are you gonna bring chocolate? What I've found in the past is that chocolate is always best. This may be obvious to people who've traveled before, but once you start moving around in a space, you've realized that you don't need that much. So my first day in Cape Town, I sat down at the hostel breakfast table and met a guy called Roberto. He said to me that he was going to be looking for a t-shirt that day. And I was like, oh dude, you don't need to spend time looking for a t-shirt, you can just have mine. I had 3, now I have 2, and that's all you really need when you're cycling around. You just need 1 to wear and 1 to wash. And because I gave Roberto my t-shirt, he ended up introducing me to his friends Aaron and Simon. They took me in their car all the way down to the Cape of Good Hope, which I just would not have done if I was by myself. It was completely out of the way for me. But we ended up having an amazing day going through Simon's Town and meeting some wonderful people down there and seeing beautiful sights. If you can go into traveling with this kind of generosity and openness, something like that might happen to you. You don't have to go and just give away all your clothes, but it's worth a shot. But really the main takeaway here is that you don't actually need that much stuff. So I just want to point out, while we're making this movie, all of the gear I was going to use to cycle from London to Cape Town is actually in a container ship coming back to New Zealand because of COVID-19. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that trip. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you all of the gear that I have because I didn't want to go out and buy seconds of everything. So I'll just go through some of the basics that you'll need, and I'll hit you with some images over the top. You're probably going to want to pick up a brand called L13. On my first bikepacking trip, I found these cheap secondhand pannier bags, and they just sucked. The straps ripped, they weren't waterproof as advertised, and they were pretty expensive. So what I would recommend is you should definitely do what I did there and get something secondhand, but try and aim for the high-end brands that are secondhand. Because if you get those high-end brands new, it's quite a lot of money. And these kinds of well-built materials will actually just last you ages. Like my Peak Design bag is guaranteed waterproof for life. And it's actually just served me pretty well. So what's happening with bikepacking is we're taking those bags and we're strapping them to the actual frame instead of putting them on racks and making the bike kind of cumbersome. Like, it's pretty heavy and strange to cycle a fully loaded touring bike. So what I've got in London are these frame bags, a handlebar bag, and a tail bag. And you can get like 60 to 100 liters of equipment into these bags, and it makes the bike not only more aerodynamic, which you're not too fussed about because you'll probably be taking it easy, but it does bring all of the weight into the center of gravity on you and your bike, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to ride, and I wish I had it all with me to show you. We are planning a second round of this course where we can take you on a full tour of the South Island. But right now, Auckland's in lockdown, so we gotta wait for that. At the end of the day though, all you really need is something waterproof. this kind of bike travel is very versatile. If you can find any sort of bag, even a rubbish bag or something a little bit more durable, you can just strap it to your bike frame with bungee cords or rope, and you can take that off at the end of the day and unpack your kit. Places to look for this: if you're already in New Zealand, Trade Me, but everywhere else, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and eBay. And also just hit up people in your local area, like find op shops or go to the rubbish dump, and you might find some awesome waterproof, you know, material that you could wrap your clothes in. You know, in the olden days, some time ago, people with sticks, and you know that, you know, we'll just put a meme there. That's pretty fucking obvious, Looney Tunes.